Alright. Hello. Hi. Welcome to another episode. Today, I thought I would debrief my time at Warner Brothers on Harley Quinn. Tomorrow is officially my last day. Technically, today was my last work day. I didn't really have a lot of stuff to do other than like general cleanup notes and all that jazz. I can get into that another time, or later on rather. Thought I'd do a video while it's still fresh in my mind. This video will probably be kind of old. I mean, like in the distant past by now. But yeah, I thought I'd get it when it's fresh in my mind, how I felt. And maybe another day I could kind of like, I don't know, talk about it more from like a different point of view. But today I am going to be talking about what's like fresh in the noggin. So I worked at Warner Brothers as a revisionist on Harley Quinn season 3. It was such a dream gig. I couldn't believe that I got this opportunity when it came in my inbox. I had such a good time on this show. It, like my teammates and the story and getting to draw what I got to draw every day was like so fun because it was like action and romance and comedy. This is why I really love working in adult animation, because it's got it all. Someday I hope adult animation will get more into drama, but that's another story for another day. Another story for another day. Let's talk about Harley Quinn. My daily life consisted of waking up in the morning, making some coffee, turning on my computer, and if I had an assignment from the other day, starting that up, or if I didn't, I would check in with my team and get my next assignment. The job of a revisionist on this specific production was to address the notes, so sometimes I got to redraw things, or sometimes I had to label all the characters, and another job was also inserting the script and action notes. You know, like sound effects and visual effects, all that jazz. The only tedious part of it was the notes section, because we had to panel by panel insert the phonetics, the syllables of what was being said in that panel on the timeline. I think it was for the editors. Either way, tedious, but of course, it's my job. I don't mind. Because at the end of the day, I still got to do some really sick shit. Really cool stuff, man. Obviously, my favorite parts were when I got to draw. I grew so much as an artist from working on the show. It's so crazy. Like, my draftsman skills were decent when I first started, but oh boy, when I got off that show, let me tell you, it's not even just like the actual draftsmanship skills, it's like also the confidence and the things I've learned along the way. And that kind of just reminded me of this thing that I had realized while I was working on the show. The head character designer was Shane Glines. And I've talked about him before. He's one of my art heroes that I'm influenced by. And I remember the first time I had ever done like an actual study of him. Like I had looked at his work before, but never like really like attempted his style. And wow, man, I fell in love with like his shape design and all that stuff. And I have this image in my head of what it looked like, and maybe I'll pull it up in editing what it looked like. But it's this picture of Morgan from Darkstalkers. And I drew her in Shane Glines style, like super sketchy, because I was really into gouache brushes at that time. I don't know why my memory is so clear on this one. Maybe because it was like a pivotal moment or something. I don't know. But anyways, I really was satisfied with how things looked, and it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, flash forward to the show. He's like the lead designer. It's like all of his shapes, man. I forgot to introduce you to this image that I have on the screen right next to me. It's a thank you card that I drew for my crew on my last day. I kind of just sent it out and like, you know, let everyone know how grateful I was to be a part of the show, and you know that they were a great crew and everything like that. It was really such a cool time, man. Yeah, so I mean, whew, I feel like I definitely improved from working on the show, and being able to work with Shane Glines designs, like, believe me when I tell you, like, how many of his drawings that like his drawing files I saved from the like online database that we're connected to. Speaking of which, I should definitely like clarify and state that this production was pretty much all work from home, which has its pros and cons. Let me raise my little desk again. There, fix my posture. Yeah, work from home has its pros and cons. Mostly pros, but I do miss the fact that I can't get to see my coworkers in person. And I feel like on my past productions where we had work from home situations, we kind of try to like still like do things and see each other, which I guess I, you know, in hindsight I probably could have reached out more, but I don't know if you can relate, but man, working from home is super draining, especially if you're like in meetings all day and like or sitting down at a computer all day and not really like talking to people or seeing their faces. It's kind of draining. So that's why I'm really glad that I reached out to my friends more this time around, because I felt so isolated in quarantine, not being able to like have a support system. And that's besides the point. We're talking about HQ. Pros of working from home: there's some freedom. You know, I could walk around on PJs. I don't feel pressure to like stay at my desk all the time. Not that I'm like wandering about, but like, I don't know. Just feels like I could do a little bit more. Although I have to be totally honest, I'm just gauging it off of like part-time job experiences that I've had, because my only real studio experience was when I interned at Starburns, and then I got my big animation break, full-time animation break from when it was quarantine, literally the first month end of quarantine. Dude, let me tell you, I felt so fucked. I'm sure a lot of people did, for worse reasons too. But from my like angle, it felt like so scary because at that time, oh my god, let's not talk about this. We'll do a episode about this. My bad. Tune in next time. Tune in next time. Let's just say working from home is kind of a blessing because it's crazy to think that we even have this ability, like to communicate online and make a whole show over the internet, man. Pretty wild. I mean, I think I've heard from, I want to say when I was working at Titmouse that they had some people that were like required to be in the office, such as like color designers, because their monitors over there are like specifically color calibrated to some of those like digital editing softwares. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't know specifically, but you do know what I mean. You know what I mean. Those are the kinds of people that had to. Gotta fix her eyeline. Look at that. This is how I figure out eyeline, by the way. She's kind of looking, but she needs to be a little bit more on the left. I mean the right. So yeah. Another pro is I do get to spend time with my family when I want to, or see my friends more often, because I can take my computer almost everywhere. This computer I was lent, unfortunately, is very difficult, and it's not portable like my laptop. But still, having that option there is so nice. The cons. I feel like it's easy to get kind of lost in work and use it as like a distraction. For me, at least. Like, I'm sure when there's like people about in an office, it might be easier to have more like a balance because, you know, people around you asking for like lunch breaks and whatnot, like actually going out of the office. I think also too, it's easier to get away with like working past your hours, which is something that is I believe a bad habit that some people tend to do, and just in general in this industry. As I've gotten older, I'm kind of trying to like respect that boundary more, just for my sake and also my future family's sake, because I don't want to like develop a bad habit and then, you know, have someone who needs me or depends on me or would like me around for like emotional support, and I'm such a workaholic that I don't even have like the like, how would I say it? I just don't want to be swept up in my work as much as I have been in the past. So hoping to strike that work-life balance. I could probably go for some more walks, you know? I started using this new like habit tracking app, and I'm going to see how that goes. So far I'm like 3 days in, which is apparently like step 1 of developing a habit. I think it takes, according to their schedule, of course, it takes like 7 days to integrate a habit like into your lifestyle. And it's kind of interesting because it starts off with just like drinking water. That'd be a cool sponsor, maybe someday, huh? Maybe someday. So another part of my job was like doing work meetings over Zoom, basically just kind of like debriefing about like what the notes were. In my previous gigs, there were a lot more meetings, and I'm gonna be honest, like I'm really grateful that there weren't a lot, because I have heard from other productions that they have like frivolous meetings when there doesn't need to be any. I think her head's a little too big. You know, so I am totally fine with not having frivolous meetings. There. Something like that, huh? Okay, cool. Okay. I want to talk about being able to do extra projects with Warner Brothers. They asked me, and by they I mean like my showrunner, Jen. She asked me if I wanted to do a storyboard for the DC fandom, and it's already been out, and these outfits that I drew the girls in are in there, so I felt like it was fine to, you know, draw it because people know about it. But anyways, so go ahead and check that out if you're interested. I got to storyboard most of it. There were some like revisions where I didn't particularly like touch upon, but it was so cool to have the opportunity to storyboard as a revisionist. Are you kidding me? That whole thing was a dream project, I'm telling you. But here's the thing too, is it's because I think these opportunities came to me because I worked super hard to get them. Like, I feel like I really was trying to prove that I belonged there. And I think, I don't know, like I just felt pressure to be like, I'm good enough to stay. I'm good enough to promote, you know. I wanted, and I just fucking love animation. So like it wasn't that difficult of an ask to put in extra work to do that, you know. Let's see. Got ink? Yeah, boy. How do I edit though? Maybe? Like this. Okay, cool. Let's do some inking. So that was a really fun project, and I got to do some. It was technically like freelance, but it counted as overtime, which I didn't mind. This is my first time using this pen as an inking tool, and I'm going to see if I like this as like my actual inker for the webcomic, so this will be exciting. So far so good. Looks cute. Looks cute and good. Also, side note, I don't think this is going to be like the completion style for every episode, every panel. Maybe some special panels, but this is kind of like, I see this as like a promo art. Yeah, so check out Fandom. specifically the Harley Quinn segment. It was pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Nah, we'll worry about that later. So I thought I'd also talk about what a revisionist is. Because I don't know if everyone specifically knows like what the day-to-day tasks are. Oh, just kidding. I already talked about that. I would absolutely love to work with Warner Brothers again if they'd have me. I got to work with another director that I'd previously worked with on Final Space, so that was so cool. He actually recommended me for the job, and it was really awesome because I had just kind of sent him like a casual like DM that I was looking for work and, you know, catching up and like seeing how he's doing and all that jazz. And because I had sent that out like almost like months in advance, I wasn't expecting to hear back from him Harley Quinn in May. And that was when I heard back from, that was when I got into contact with Julian, who was my producer. And originally he was going to test me, but it seemed like they needed people ASAP. And so he was like, we're just going to take a chance on you. And I was like, oh my god, okay. So I think that probably added to like why I was like, I need to prove I am good. So yeah, that's how I got the job. I would, if I had to do anything differently, I think I probably would have learned how to draw things like way more tighter on model in the beginning. I eventually learned how to do so, and that was because I had gotten like a few critiques in the beginning. And again, like I was saying, I was deathly afraid that I was gonna lose my job if I didn't do a good job. Yeah, like some of my criticisms were the heads were too big. The mouths looked like stickers, so it didn't have any form, you know, like. So I got really good at learning how to draw lips and mouths on dimensionally. Yeah, and I mean, I was kind of like looking at my old files today as I was saving them to my personal collection, and noticed that my lines were super kind of like scratchy, and as you can see while I'm lining, I feel pretty like confident in like making that first stroke work. Efficiency, my friend, efficiency. It's not always perfect, but I can kind of get there, especially since I've been pretty warmed up today. I drew that drawing that's near my head all in one day, so I better be warmed up, yo. I'm trying to think of what I learned on the show. Well, I definitely learned I need to have more chill. Although things worked out for me in the end, so I guess hindsight's 20/20. But it would have helped me in the beginning to not be so stressed out. I honestly don't even know if he was serious about testing me or not, like, you know, seeing if I was a good fit by just having me work, but that just worked out because I think I'm just naturally like super passionate about my job. I'm like trying to be really good at it, so I'm sure it kind of just like naturally would have happened either way. Anyways, it's nice to be chill and not be anxious, but hey, that's why I am going to therapy right now. I think I would have survived if I got fired anyways, you know what I'm saying? So it's always good to keep that in mind. Although would have been a bummer, would have been a big bummer, but I'm here now and everything worked out just fine. I wish I would have also maybe reached out more to my teammates. I felt like I, you know, had talked to them enough. It's just so hard when you're working from home to know what's the appropriate amount of like interaction and all that jazz, but I'm looking forward to seeing them someday soon. And of course working with them again. You know what I did learn that I will continue doing is that my bravery for asking for this gig paid off. That's what I'd love to do again. I don't think it ever hurts to just, you know, politely ask and be okay with not getting the answer you want. Like I said, I've been going through therapy, and so it's been really good for me to realize that I'll be okay, like, when things don't go the way I expect them or want them. And when the opportunity is right, the hard work will pay off, but, you know, it's good to keep a healthy mindset about it. Now here's the segment where I give you the advice on how you could get this job. First off, you got to know the basics of storyboarding. I think it's worth your time to be a good draftsman, especially for Harley Quinn. That was one of the requirements for the show. So that I was nervous about because, I mean, you know, I consider myself like a pretty good drawer. A drawer. But I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure if I was good enough to be a revisionist on that show. I had seen work from other people who were on the show. Like Amber Blade Jones. I link her work. And so I was expecting, you know, high level shit, man. Don't get me wrong, there was. But I wish I could show you what I'm talking about, like, but you're just gonna have to wait till season 3 comes out. Hopefully this little card I drew will suffice. Especially since, like I said, in case any of y'all are looking to snitch, do not worry. This has been shared with the public. This design has been shared with the public. So, anyways, Good draftsmanship. Needed. Absolutely. I think also you should study composition, anatomy, 100%. I think you should practice drawing on model. Like I had said before, like that was something I wished I would have practiced way more before the show. I wasn't, you know, there's like a lot of discourse on Twitter about like on model drawings and such from other storyboard artists, and I get where it comes from, but in order to succeed in this position, unfortunately, I think it's worth it's worth your time to build that skill. It's worth your time to build that skill. So practice drawing on model. That was honestly one of the things that really changed how I thought about animation when I was in college, because I had always, you know, wanted to work in TV animation, but the actual day I sat down and I drew Garnet from Steven Universe on model, or tried to, in my sketchbook, it changed everything, because I was like, oh my god, like, if I want to be a storyboard artist on this kind of show, I would need to know how to draw these proportions correctly. And it was something that I hadn't done up until that point. I'm by no means perfect, and I think there's a lot for me to improve, but I've definitely gotten to a point where I'm really confident, and you know, my directors are happy with my work, so that makes me feel validated. And you know, it's art is subjective, so I'm sure that, you know, my art won't appeal to everybody, but it gets the job done for Harley Quinn, y'all. So yeah, I'm kind of done on this topic. I will perhaps keep recording for a little bit. That you enjoy the line art shenanigans. If I haven't already said what this is from my upcoming webcomic called Groovy Darling. And I'm just doing some testing. This image possibly has already been posted. I'm still trying to figure out like my promotion schedule on this. I'd like to do some sort of like fun campaign where I reveal different characters at different times. So one of my ideas for this was to kind of silhouette the girls, and then you'd be like, who's this? Who's that? And then reveal them as time goes on. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Keep drawing and stay creative. As always, questions are super welcome below. Feel free to support me on Patreon. And take care. Bye-bye.